Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. I'm back. I'm sorry I've been absent. We got caught in a little rainstorm. Might have seen it on the TV. A Hurricane Michael hit us at a 4 here. That was a surprise. We weren't really expecting it to hit this far inland with that much strength. Just so everybody knows, I saw the comments. Thank you very much. The house is fine. The shop's fine. Everybody's fine. The dogs are fine. Everything's okay. We had a lot of trees falling, lost power, stuff like that. There are a lot of people to the south of me who are in a bad way, though. So this is the perfect time to talk about natural disasters, government response to natural disasters, and what you can do so you don't have to rely on the government response. One of the things that has become a huge problem in the aftermath of disasters is looting. And it's not the looting that has actually become the problem. The problem is law enforcement response to looting includes shutting down the county. Now, what that means is that volunteers can't come in to help. And that is causing a real problem. We had one local county to the south of me do that. People that I knew participated in relief efforts in Harvey could not get in. And these were people that could have done a lot of good, especially that first day. And they were not allowed in. And that's an issue. Now, the reason cops do this is partially by media propaganda. After every disaster, the helicopter flies over and they find typically a black family that is looting, carrying bread and food and water, because that's looting. And I'll go ahead and tell you this right now, that's not looting, that's surviving. In the event of a natural disaster like that, I cannot judge somebody harshly for that. But normally that's what you see, and they make a big deal out of it. People are looting. Now, the reason they started making a big deal out of it was after Katrina, when the government response was lacking. They wanted to show that what people had to resort to. And there were definitely some unusual tones to some of the coverage. If it was a black family, they were looting. If it was a white family, they had found food. And you can look back and see that. It's very blatant. Anyway, but let's talk about real looting. And let's talk about what the sheriff or the law enforcement of an area, of a jurisdiction, is actually saying when they close down their county because of the threat of looting. Now, I know they're cops. They pretty much believe everybody's a criminal, so we'll give them 2 to 1. Let's say that for every one rescue worker that's going to come in, there are 2 people looting. And those 2 people looting, each one of them has a van. And that rescue worker, he's only going to stay 1 day, and he's going to leave at lunch after he saves 1 person. Looters do not go to people's home during a natural disaster and conduct home invasions. It doesn't happen. That's not what they do. They go hit whatever unoccupied big box store that has the power down and there's no alarm. That's what they hit. So let's say that those 2 looters fill those vans up, top to bottom, TVs, computers, everything, anything they can get their hands on of value. So what law enforcement is saying is that 2 vanfuls of wet TVs are worth more than your life. That's really what they're saying. In the event of a natural disaster, protecting the inventory of some large corporation should pretty much be at the bottom of any law enforcement agency's list. That is not a high priority. But because of that, people die. And that may sound dramatic, but we got 1,000 people missing just south of me. And a whole lot of them are from the county that closed down. Now, I got to wonder how many of those could have been found that first day when they weren't letting people in. So, now here we are a week into it. I've still yet to see FEMA. I saw one Red Cross truck. The only federal agency that I have actually seen was Border Patrol, and they were getting out. They were leaving. They were evacuating. Now, while I'm sitting here trashing the government response, I do want to point out that Florida National Guard, it seemed like they were on scene before the wind stopped. They did a great job, and they showed up. You could tell these guys were these guys were rousted, and I mean, some you could tell they were Floridians. You know, some they got their plate carriers on and shorts. You know, completely out of regs, but it didn't matter because they were doing the job, and they were handing out food, water, were there to help people that needed it. There were probably a lot of people that made it that would not have if it hadn't been for them and them showing up as quickly as they did. So, but it is a state agency, and Florida's National Guard is, well, let's just say it's a little different. Anyway, so the end result is you can't count on the government response. You can't. In fact, some of the things that your government agencies may do will make it worse for you. So what can you do? If you watch these videos often, you know normally there's a whole bunch of bags back here. They're not there right now because they're in the house. Putting together a kit, a bag for emergencies is something that every family should do. There are a lot of people that would not be in as bad a situation as they are had they done that. Simple things, you know, little flashlights, stuff like that, and just have it all in one spot. And the thing is, when people read one of these lists of stuff that's supposed to be in one of these bags, they're like, well, I have all this. You do, but it's spread all over your house, and you won't be able to find it. Take it, put it together. I'm going to put some links in the comments that will help people put one of these bags together. And I'll put a couple of them for different budget levels. Do it. Take the time. It doesn't take long. It's not a big process. We're not talking about building a bunker and preparing for doomsday. We're just talking about enough to survive a week or two until things normalize. And it's not hard, and it's really not that expensive. And trust me, we opened almost every one of those bags. We needed something out of it. So definitely take the time to do it. If you're not going to read the article, short version, you need food, water, fire, shelter, medical supplies, and a knife. And when I say medical supplies, I don't just mean a first aid kit. If somebody in your family is on daily meds, you need to have more than, you need to have a couple weeks of those extra in that bag, because pharmacies will not be open. Anyway, so just a thought. Please take the time to read it, to put one of those bags together. Anyway, y'all have a good night.